Well, good evening and a very warm welcome to our AUA Golden Jubilee Lecture and Awards ceremony. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Alison Johns and I have the privilege and pleasure of being the president of AUA. Hooray! This is going to be even better, isn't it? I can see as the evening progresses. Well, it's my pleasure to open up the proceedings this evening, as I say, to welcome you here. And just to remind ourselves that this is a specifically and particularly significant time for AUA and in AUA's history, because we are 50 years old this year, and that's a fantastic place to be. We've been encouraging all of our members this year to look back, to look to the future and look beyond. So in the spirit of being a good AUA member, I did a bit of that myself before I came along this evening. And as I Googled, I thought, what was happening 50 years ago today? Well, 50 years ago today, there was only one incident, which I'll say for in a minute, but some interesting things happened. The Beatles performed their first ever gig in the Cavern in Liverpool in 1961. Barclays Bank was the first bank to have its own computing system. The farthing went out of currency. Fidel Castro declares communism in Cuba. The first songs of praise came out. And the premiere film Victim was the first English film to use the word homosexual. So those two things happened in the same year. It was quite interesting. Britain applies for membership of the EC. Now, what really worries me is that I remember most of those things, if not all of them. But it says something about the longevity of our organisation as well. Many of those things are still... Oh, betting was legalised as well. Gosh, that's very interesting. Anyway, moving on. In terms of looking forward, in terms of our future and where we're going to now, I know Simon, our guest speaker tonight, is going to take us on a tour de force around issues and challenges facing us there, so I shan't do that. But looking beyond the future, I think what was really interesting is that an email landed in my box last night from a colleague of mine who's worked in higher education for over 20 years. She was the 8M president, and she's now into futures. And her email was telling me about a new generation of contact lenses that will project images in front of your eyes, which will mean wearers can read floating texts and emails as they walk around. How's that for an efficiency gain? Very appropriate when George Osborne's making his budget statement today. Perhaps on a more serious note, nanotechnology could mean the end of antibiotics. There are 4 primates survived the deadly Ebola virus in Africa using nanoparticles, and that sounds fantastic, but it will have to overcome a billion-dollar industry, which has been the mainstay of our medical provision for I don't know how long. So maybe some things will get through to the future, some things won't. But universities, you know, are at the centre of all of these things, and we're at the centre of supporting universities being able to deliver that. That's why we're so important, I believe, in terms of the future. So we've been encouraging members to do that, looking back, looking to the future, and looking beyond. And many here today, from the Board of Trustees, the Council, the Board of Studies, and other members, have spent much of today not only looking at the future of higher education, but looking at the future of our association. And there are lots of exciting developments on the horizon that we will be seeking to influence. We're not simply prepared to adapt to the changing landscape. We need to get in there and start making it work and working on the problems together. However, I think the really important thing for us tonight is that we come here together to celebrate a whole number of things: individual achievements, collective achievements. We want to honour the vision and the passion of the founders and the architects of our professional association. And also we want to invite challenge and inspiration for the future from our guest lecturer, Simon. So without further ado, I'd like to open the proceedings and hand over to Alison.
Good evening. You'll notice that this evening is our Jubilee Lecture and Awards ceremony, and because it is our Jubilee and a really special opportunity to celebrate a lot of achievements, we've got quite a lot of awards and things that we want to recognise this evening. So we're going to present some of those things before Simon's lecture and some more after Simon's lecture, just to keep things a bit interesting and break the evening up a little bit. The first set of awards that we want to present are about the PgCert. The AUA's Postgraduate Certificate in Professional Practice is a flagship qualification. It's well regarded in the sector. It is validated by the Open University and recognised through progression agreements with a number of higher qualifications, including the prestigious Institute of Education here in London. Successful completion of the PgCert represents a long and sustained personal commitment to professional development by those who pursue the qualification and those who support it. Before presenting graduates of the programme, I'd like to give you all an opportunity to show your appreciation for those who give their time freely and unreservedly as mentors on the PgCert, because it wouldn't be possible for us to deliver the PgCert without that voluntary effort. So can we please say thank you to the mentors? We have a very special guest with us this evening who will be presenting these certificates. We're delighted to be joined tonight by Jerry Sullivan, who is Executive Director of ACRO, the American Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers. ACRO has an even longer heritage than the AUA, having celebrated its centenary in 2010. And as Jerry was reflecting earlier, it's not often that America's had something around longer than we have. Jerry has travelled from Washington, DC to celebrate with us this evening, so I now invite Jerry to present the AUA Postgraduate Certificate in Professional Practice to the people we'll call up. If you stand on the cross, they'll know where to go. Just a quick housekeeping thing about the photographer. We're going to take photos as we go, but there's also going to be an opportunity for posed photographs after the awards ceremony is concluded. So we're not going to take ages taking lots of posed photographs. Okay, receiving the postgraduate certificate. Leslie Bowen from Brunel University. Lisa Kamel, Institute of Education. Kirsty Eleanor, Guildhall School of Music and Drama. Rachel Kelly, University of Bristol. John Peck, School of Pharmacy, University of London. Alison Whaley from Cranfield University. And Carol Witz from the College of Law. Thank you. Graduating in absentia, we have Clara Koch from the University of Kent, Sarah Greenway from the University of Bristol, Anne-Marie Noble from the University of Lincoln, and Lloyd Powell from Cardiff Metropolitan University. Having acknowledged and celebrated individual achievement through the postgraduate certificate, we now turn to recognising institutional and sector-level contributions. 2009 saw the launch of the AUA CPD framework, the result of 2 years of research and consultation supported by HEFCE's Leadership Governance and Management Fund, the Higher Education Academy and the Leadership Foundation. The AUA framework is a behaviours-based approach to personal and organisational development that embraces the specialist and generalist attributes necessary for professional services in higher education. In 2010, the AUA secured further funding to support implementation projects. That first cohort of early adopters have shown themselves to be creative, imaginative and practical pioneers, willing to contribute their time, energy and learning to test and champion the AUA's approach to CPD. They've applied the framework to some of the greatest challenges facing our sector, including managing restructure, culture change and curriculum development. I now ask Alison Johns, our President, to present certificates of recognition to recognise this contribution to organisational CPD. First of all, I'm going to say that just list the organisations that participated in this first cohort and then invite individuals to come up to receive their certificates. We have the Association of Research Managers and Administrators, Aston University, Canterbury Christchurch University, University College Dublin, the University of Essex, Goldsmiths, the University of London, Sheffield Hallam University, the University of Sheffield, Unison, University College London, University of the West of England, and a number of others who have individual representatives here this evening that I'll now acknowledge and ask to come up and receive your certificates. Coming up for the University of Bath, Angela Alcock. For St George's, University of London, Margaret Bentley. For the University of Kent, Melissa Bradley. For Oxford Brookes University, Liz Druitt and Kay Tillier. For the University of Bedfordshire, we have Bethan Michael and Thomas Phillips. For Edge Hill University, we have Maria Mirza. And I hope we have Simon Smith from the University of Stirling, but maybe not. Yeah! I'm going to do an unscripted, shameless plug for the Golden Jubilee commemorative pin at this point. These dapper accessories have been specially designed as a way of us generating a bursary fund. And so far, by selling these pins, we've not only shown to the world that the AUA is classy and stylish, but we've also raised enough money to support at least one person through the PgCert who wouldn't otherwise have been able to undertake that CPD. And we'd really very much like to increase that bursary fund. So, unsurprisingly, there will be opportunities after this evening's lecture for you to offer a donation so that you too can sport the Golden Jubilee pin. It's a limited offer. It's only for this year only. Please dig deep and support your colleagues in their professional development. We're going to resume the awards element of this evening's proceedings, and this time we're moving on to an old favourite, which is our Branch Good Practice Awards. Every year we recognise the huge contribution made by the AUA volunteer community, colleagues who give of their time and energy to make your AUA experience meaningful at a local level. Our professional association has evolved over the last 50 years to meet the changing needs of members and the sector, and will continue to reinvent itself as we shape and adapt to the future. What will not change is our appreciation for the efforts of our volunteers. The Branch Good Practice Awards are our way of saying thank you. The 2011 Branch Good Practice Awards go in no particular order to the University of Northampton, Nick Allen and Cumberford. Fantastic. Goldsmiths, University of London, with Adam Cresswell coming forward to receive that. Cranfield University, Alison Whaley receiving that. And last, but by no means least, Queen's University Belfast, Jane O'Neill receiving that. Of course, 2011 is not just any year, it's the AUA's Golden Jubilee year. We wanted to do something special, so we invited nominations for some specifically Jubilee Awards. Christopher's been a great champion of these awards, so again, Christopher's going to present them. We had some very specific contributions and some very specific categories of these awards. So the first one that I'm going to call up is for Best Contribution to Career Development, Maxine Penlington from Birmingham City University. Best AUA Advocate goes to Adam Cresswell from University College London. The next award is being presented to two colleagues jointly for the work they've done at a regional level for the AUA. They really have transformed the East Midlands region through a really creative partnership. So the most innovative involvement in AUA activity goes jointly to Jeff Green from the University of Leicester and T. Holden from the University of Derby. And we have one that's awarded in absentia, which goes to the Best AUA Newcomer, Judy Cohen from the University of Kent. Every year we also present a range of fellowships, and this was first introduced in 2005, since which time we've presented some 51 fellows of the association. Receiving AUA Fellowship this evening, Melissa Bradley from the University of Kent. Edith Caulfield from Queen's University Belfast. James Craig from the University of Leeds. Anne Hartley from Aston University. Carol Hughes, formerly of the University of Salford. Jane O'Neill from Queen's University Belfast. Jan Shine from Paulus Consultancy and one of our own AUA CPD consultants. And Helen Uglow from London Business School. And in addition, conferred in absentia, Peter Reeder from the University of Portsmouth. This next and final section of the awards ceremony gives us particular pleasure. The Golden Jubilee, as we said at the beginning, has been an opportunity to look back and celebrate our past achievements and celebrate the history and the legacy that has paved the way for everything we're now able to do. The highest honour the AUA can confer is election as an Honorary Fellow. This award is solely within the gift of the trustees and awarded only for exceptional contributions to the association or our profession. So I now invite Simon Fanshawe to present a number of Honorary Fellowships in recognition of outstanding service and contribution to the establishment and development of the AUA. Those attending and here present this evening, if you'd like to come forward as your names are called. Stuart Bosworth. Aiken. Okay. Elizabeth Crossley. John Hayward. John Lowrice. Jeff Lockwood. David Morell. Derek Schofield. James Walsh, awarded posthumously and collected this evening by Vanessa Walsh. And Graham Williams. Awarded in absentia, in addition to those that I thought were going to be here, Roy Butler, Alex Curry, Reg Erskine, Emrys Wynne-Jones, Ken Kitchen, Anne Lonsdale, Richard Mordett, Sally Neocosmos, Edgar Temple, awarded posthumously, and Cliff Ragg.
Thank you very much, Alison. Before I actually do my concluding remarks, which I promise will be very short, I would just like to say some thank yous. I think a really big thank you needs to go to the AUA office. I said earlier on today, without them, actually, I'm not sure we would exist anymore. I remember being in AUA, a colleague and friend of mine, Jean Greer, is here. And Sue Holmes here. We did everything voluntarily part-time whilst we were doing the full-time job. I think there was half a person called Robert Ives who ran the office in those days. Well, thankfully, we've moved on. We're a lot more professional. But without the AUA office, we wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have been here for 50 years. So I would like to say a big thank you to Alison and the team. And of course, thank goodness, there are still a lot of you who give your time for free. And without you, of course, we wouldn't be able to do all the things that we do. So we have our board of trustees, we have our branch coordinators and regional coordinators and board of studies and mentors. And I'm sure I'm missing people out. But what I do recognise, one of the great things about AUA is the participation. I think it makes it more of our own organisation. But a big thank you to all of you that make us possible. And there is finally, in terms of thanks, there are a number of partner organisations that we work very closely with, and I know I'm going to leave some people out here, but here's a stab. There's AHUA, Heads of University Administration, great supporters of ours. There are the other representative organisations like ARC and AUD and Buff Dog and UHR. And then there are bodies like the Leadership Foundation. I'm seeing Hewitt here, and I think there's David Locke. And then there's David Rubain from the Equality Challenge. There are a lot of bodies. It's UUK, Guild HE. We work very well together. And I think as we face the future, it will be increasingly important that we continue to work together. So thank you for all of your support for AUA for the last 50 years, and we look forward to it for the next 50 years as well, at least. Okay, to sum up, what are my takeaway points? Well, first of all, I hope you feel you've had a sense of celebration here tonight. I certainly have. I think it's been fabulous to see all the hard work and the achievements be recognised. And then I'd like to say thank you to Simon. What a fantastic lecture you gave us tonight, Simon. Absolutely terrific. And actually, that's the word that I've taken away, is terrific. Thinking about what makes your university terrific. What's the terrificness factor? And then what is it that we do actually to make the student experience terrific? I invite you to go away and think about that and how you can up the terrificness quotients for your students. And then finally, what is it about you that's terrific? I hope you think AUA makes a contribution to your terrificness, and we know that you're terrific because you wouldn't be members either, anyway if you weren't. But do look to AUA to think about how you can enhance that and take yourselves forward in the future. I think it's what will make you stand out and will help you to survive as we head through the next, turbulent 3 or 4 years that Simon was saying. But I tell you what, they're going to be one of the most exciting 3 or 4 years ahead, I can promise you that. And we are going to be part of a really big change. And I'm sure it's going to be terrific. Thank you very much.